Perfect Turd Podcast episode 244, Lamar, Quadrant.
Well, we're back with Full Moon, their new series of movies called Pulp Noir.
Yep.
And the first one that they have released is Quadrant, which is kind of like, I don't know, like The Matrix meets, Crazed Killer, basically,
Yeah.
and Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, well, we just interviewed the man, Charles Band, about this, so now we get to talk about it. What do we think about our first category, which is story?
Well, just like so many stories, it starts off with, people trying to do experiments and crap, not knowing what they're doing. Well, they do know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's just that they choose this woman, her name is Erin, and they have this machine that goes on your head that kind of, peers in your mind, your dreams. It's supposed to help people with nightmares and stuff like that. They have another person, Robert. He lives in a nightmare world, so they're trying to help people. But unbeknownst to them, Joe, Erin doesn't have nightmare problems. She has crazy, I am infatuated with Jack the Ripper fantasies. And so she goes into this quadrant and lives out fantasies, and then they go into real life.
Well, Lamar, I enjoyed this story because of that, because it did combine so many things together.
You know what? It's like they had original ideas. It's almost like, the movies, back in the day, they had original ideas. This is insane, Joe. But yes, I liked it.
Well, what are you giving it for a story then?
I give it a 1.
I will agree. 1 point. Well, our next category, Lamar, is what do we think of the characters?
Well, we talked about Erin. She's basically the crazy maniac. And then we have Robert, who is the unfortunate soul who has, all these crazy nightmares in his brain. We have Meg, and then also Harry, who create like the actual tech. Yeah, I think the characters are all good. I did like the actress who plays Erin, Sharon Barnes. I think she did a good job. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was the other character was the assistant to the guy that created the technology, where he had helped her as well at some point, right? But she still has some underlying problems of her own. Now that was cool. Like the thing that Full Moon does well is everything they do is like there's limited characters, but they all interact well. They're all kind of unique to themselves. I'm gonna give it 1 point for character.
Agreed. 1 point.
Our next category. This one's interesting because it's a new frontier, Lamar. Our next category is special effects of the movie, and I guess the aesthetic.
Well, they basically go into this dreamscape, and it's like all crazy and stuff like that. But it's AI generated, so it's like these ghoulish characters and all this stuff. You can be, in some crazy, ghostly woods at one point. Then we go to hell. And so it's like all this like generated stuff that basically represents like the person's dreams and everything.
So they did use AI generated film for this, like, and it makes sense in context of what they're doing because they are in a simulation. So
Yes.
It's not supposed to look hyper like realistic. It's supposed to look kind of, generated and stuff. So I thought that was like a good touch. It didn't come across like hokey, like we've reviewed some films recently that have the kind of fake background thing, and that can look weird. But with the background of this being in a simulation, it does kind of make sense, and it worked really well. Also, these pulp noir movies are supposed to be a little more darker, a little like have a different look, and I thought they did that well, too. So, what do you give it for special effects?
I give it a 1.
Yeah, I agree. 1 point. Well, our next category, Lamar, an important one when it comes to these movies, the kills.
Well, people definitely get murked. I mean, it's a well, of course, because it's Jack the Ripper and stuff like that. He's known for stabbing people. So I will say this: practical blood.
There was.
What are you gonna say, Joe?
Go ahead.
Say how you feel, Joe. I mean it because it fits with Jack the Ripper. I don't know that much about Jack the Ripper. Did he do anything but stab people?
I think that was his thing. He was a slasher.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought there was two. What? How many kills were there in the movie? There was 2 kills, right?
Yes.
I thought there could have been more kills, honestly.
Really?
I know it's only an hour and 20-minute movie, but I was hoping for more kills.
I was fine with the kills because they weren't goofy.
That's
That's
true.
what that's one thing, because how many times have we seen, computer generated blood, or like,
Oh yeah, yeah, we didn't have
or
yeah.
like the knife, going inside, and it's like it looks terrible. But this was nice and bloody vibes
Yes, there
everywhere.
was
Yes.
buckets of blood as far as that goes. That was cool. Hmm.
Yes.
Well, what are you giving it for kills, Lamar?
Giving it a 1, Joe. What are you giving it?
I'll give it a one. I mean, there was a lot of
Yeah,
blood,
what is
so
wrong with you? Gee, my
it's a
goodness.
lot of blood. Our next category oftentimes ends up being the deciding factor of the review.
Mm-hmm.
It's something Full Moon Features is known for.
Mm-hmm.
TNA, Lamar.
Time and archaeology, because they have to dig up uh you know respectively the memories of Jack the Ripper. And so this is TNA in
Mm-hmm.
that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Think
Well,
anybody's going to believe that?
no.
Uh,
There was a lot of TNA in this movie, Lamar. It was on full display, especially the T. There was
yes.
plenty of T.
Yes, there
Yes,
was TNA in
there
this
was.
movie. Yes.
Is it possible to give it more than 1 point, Lamar? Or does...
Do you want to?
well, we'll stick to our tradition. 1 point for TNA, Lamar.
Yep, we appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, Lamar, we've tallied the score. It was easy enough. This movie gets a 5 out of 5.
Yes, this movie, it does something different.
Yeah.
Full Moon is known for, shooting in, smaller locations. Like I said, a cool idea. They did it well with the effects going into, people's brains and stuff like that. And Joe, when is this coming out?
Actually, it's coming out on the 23rd of this month on all the services, Lamar.
Mm.
DVD, and we found out even the VHS. So,
Yeah, so if bust out that, what do they call it? VCR.
yeah, the VCR machine.
You have to push on both sides and slide it in. That sounded nasty, but anyway, that's what you have to do with the VHS. That's
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
saying.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely check this one out. It's cool, and do the Full Moon Patreon too. Like, I guess you get some behind the scenes stuff. Now, I was wondering though, Lamar, like, what if I go to the doctor?
Okay.
Because I have nightmares. I don't know. I have lots of nightmares. They're usually centered around Lamar
Why?
berating me and just, stepping on all my ideas about time travel. Now, what if I use the Quadrant machine, but in those Quadrant machine, I end up doing something horrible to Lamar? See, this is the power of the Quadrant. This is why you don't use that flippantly, Lamar.
This is why you don't confess to things online, Joe. Jeez. If you need to do that, you want to kill me so I can, leave you alone with all your bad
Just in
ideas
my
and stuff,
dreams.
just
Just
in
in
your
my
dreams.
dreams.
Well, that way it's helpful. I'm probably definitely gonna not be around you or anything, shiny and, sharp. But if it helps you, Joe, hey, it is what it is.
All right, then. Well, does that wrap it up, Lamar?
Does.
All right. Peace.
Deuces.